Hello, hello, my beautiful friends. It's Izabela 𝗧𝗶𝗶 the World Messenger, and I have a very special guest here with me, joining me today in the studio. He is joining me from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. He is CEO and founder of Unleash, and he is expert in supply chain, specifically more disruptive, innovative supply chain, among being a phenomenal supply chain expert and trainer who has over 1,300 students that he is coaching and training on a daily basis. He is keynote speaker, and he is also a phenomenal storyteller. So without further ado, let's welcome Ahmed Khaled. How are you, Ahmed?
Thank you, Izabela, and thank you for hosting me. Maybe it's the first time to go live, but I'm really appreciating what you're doing with your amazing interviews. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm so glad to be the first one to take you to the LinkedIn Live. I know you've been extremely busy and had many opportunities, and I'm glad that we're doing now, as many things are shifting and changing. And for everybody to watching and listening, big things are coming starting in March, and it's just a great way to get to know Ahmed from different perspective than you may be seeing him on his regular posting, which he does a phenomenal job. So Ahmed, we're obviously live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at the moment. And I will be paying attention to what people are sharing in terms of the comments. So anybody who is watching, listening, feel free to do so. But before we deep dive, do you mind sharing a little bit about your personal background? Before you moved to Saudi Arabia, you are not originally from that region. Do you mind telling us where did you grow up and what was your journey all about?
Sure. Originally, because many people, they think that I'm from Saudi Arabia. They thought about that, but I'm originally from Egypt. I'm Egyptian. My background, I'm a mechanical engineer. I raised and I born at Egypt, Cairo. My originality, it's from Upper Egypt. I started my career, and I am very passionate about supply chain. I had an amazing journey across the supply chain, crossover, I would say 11 years of experience, measuring all covering all the, I would say, operational backgrounds from make, plan, and deliver, and source. Multiple different and multiple companies, multinational companies. Along the way, something happened in my life last year, and I start to take my life into the next step, I would say. And I asked myself that I want to share something inside me with people about my experience and my thoughts. So I start, maybe the beginning, it was like an article on LinkedIn, and I start to tell stories, posts, and I don't know where I'm going. And after a long time, I took these posts into camera. I told myself, why don't I take this into the next step, into being in camera? And I didn't have any kind of skills, I would say, in being in front of the camera, about the lighting and all of these skills. But I started, action brings action, action brings action. And I started to acquire some skills. So I moved into the next step. I wanted to work on myself, to share many thoughts in a way of storytelling. So I start also to understand what is storytelling and how can you make a compelling and captivating content. So I start also to work on the content creation and understand what is the secrets and techniques that you can use in order to attract people, audience, and hook them. They can listen to you. So along the way, I would say it was not clear for me at the beginning, but along the way, I told myself, why don't I start make a compelling course about MRP and this MOQ and sharing it along the way. So I started to be at Udemy, and I found it's very, very, very amazing platform that you can share your experience on it. I put that two courses on it, as I told you, MRP and MOQ. And then after that, that I love too much people. I love too much people. So I founded Project Go, because I want to inspire people to move into their wave greatness. Based on what experience that I have, I start to share some content about how they can change their life, and maybe some thoughts that they can change their way of thinking about it. And then after that, lastly, I took my content into a strategical way. I want to have something that is touching people life, and especially the operational side in life, and even the business. So I founded the Unleash, and recently there are many things coming away.
That is beautiful, and I love what you just shared. And we have here Dr. 𝗧𝗿𝗶H who I know quite a bit in a short period of time, who also share amazing passion for people, and he is definitely saying hello and saying that we have a great initiative here. We're also having Nidal join us, and thank you so much, Nidal, for your wonderful support. Hello, champ yourself, so wonderful. But again, I love the passion for people and impact and putting yourself out there. And now when I look at your video and your content, and it's amazing, it's so interactive, it's such an educational and great way actually to bring complex subjects and topics in a way that is also quite a bit entertaining. So guys, that you don't know, we have actually somebody that is also very often referenced as Vin Diesel, and we can see why. But actually, I keep thinking who you remind me of. And if you remember Indiana Jones movie and the genie guy, the guy who is in Indiana Jones from Egypt, actually, you know, and they chase, and I forgot the character. You remind me of him too. So you have a lot of different characters in real world that you actually remind people, or at least remind me of. So I just wanted to say the entertainment piece is definitely there. And it's just so nice to put ourselves there. And Mohammed Talbai is also saying that journey is extremely amazing and that he loves your videos. So when we're passionate about something, we kind of, I guess, naturally test things out and find a way. And why this is so important, guys, again, for you to be very impactful teacher, specifically in world right now that we live in, that is virtually with so many limitations, yet to reach your students, first of all, you have to be able to be knowing who you are and how to reach them, right, in the best possible way. So do you mind telling us how did you do that and how did you shift it? And I want to just quickly here reflect what Nidal is saying. I want to shout out for the tremendous effort you're doing regarding 911 tech. Thank you so much. Many celebrities not doing what you're doing, and I says you can make a difference. Thank you, Nidal.
Thank you so much.
We are having right now huge problem, right? But we don't have to sit and wait, and that is part of supply chain efforts as well, because people are waiting for governments, people are waiting for other organizations to do the business or make a difference. And in reality, it's unbelievable what can we do if we put the minds together and we collaborate with the right people. Efforts amazing. We had a chance in the last 3 days to fundraise over $50,000, and $1 provides 3 meals. So imagine how many meals we can give to people through this charity that is not discriminating. And I guess what we're doing, Ahmed? We're actually trying to solve supply chain issues in US and in areas that are restricted and around the Texas right now. At least it's not roads and highways anymore are frozen, and then people can get through it. But the reality is, who is receiving, how many are there coming, what is coming, what is perishable, what is not, and supply chain nightmares already right there in front of everybody to face. So It's great to hear. What are you thinking, how they should approach it and how should fix that?
I think there are many challenges on supply chain. I would speak starting from the downstream to upstream. But I'm talking about, if you're talking about the main challenges in downstreams, I would speak about, I would focus in the retail side, in demand planning side. I think that the main challenges in companies, it's the first step, they don't define what is the business strategy. Maybe it's diluted. So the mislink between the business strategy and supply chain strategy, it is the link, I would say the disconnect that kills all the supply chain, and it makes, the confusion, creating the confusion. And if this link is not fixed from that side, I'm telling you, the whole network is disrupted. So the first thing, just for any organization, they have to have a very well-defined business strategy, and it is defined under it, the supply chain strategy accordingly. So this is the main thing, starting from downstream.
Yeah. And specifically for the right now, we are reactive, right? We did not do certain things proactively. Doesn't matter reasons why. We can always point the finger and blame. The reality is this cost the lives. And this is such actually a good example for us, because what happens when we neglect to do the right things what you just talked about, part of the business strategy and part of the business solution. So in case some emergencies and ad hoc interventions are required, we know exactly what to do and we're already prepared. We had already many casualties, including, young children and an 11-year-old boy who froze to death. It's just so heartbreaking to see that. All of those losses were preventable. We already have magnitude of losses due to COVID. We already have a magnitude of losses due to war and impoverished country and social economic areas that they're affected negatively, right? But a lot of times when we want to intervene, we have so many obstacles. And how we navigate those obstacles, how we work collaboratively to do that. It's all about leadership and how much we really care about people, right?
Exactly.
So with that in mind, I know you're diving so much right now into teaching and you're doing something extremely well. And I wanted to everybody that are right now dabbling into virtual teaching, virtual world, to learn from you. What are you doing so that your students not absolutely that adore you? You're obviously charismatic, smart, and easygoing and have fantastic personality. But what are you doing to make those classes and curricula entertaining, engaging, empowering, and also extremely educational? Please give us the secret sauce.
Sure. If I tell you from the beginning that everything was clear to me, I would lie. So when I start, I don't know where I'm going, but I started. As I told you, it's just the spark. The spark, action brings action. Action brings action. And as I told you, along the way, you will find. It's like snowball effect. You will come, take action here, and it will bring you for another action, and this will bring you another one, and you will attract more people that are like-minded. So it was not clear for me at the beginning, and I don't know where I'm going. So I don't know that I could be able to teach for one day. But it started with me at LinkedIn. I started with one article, and I found an amazing engagement. Because when I started, I thought that I don't have anything to be shared with people. Because it's nothing, I think this is the same mistake that everyone knows about it, that I don't have anything, I don't have certificate, I don't have this knowledge, I don't have, it's illusion. I would say it's really illusion. I was always saying that your nothing could be someone else everything. So you don't start, just share. And I'm telling you, everything will come after. Just start, leave it, and just unleash your talent, move. Share, and you will see that people will engage. So when I started, it come along the way. I found that I moved from posting, and then I take it to the next step. I told myself and my wife, why don't I take it into the next step, move and do some videos? It was very hard for me, because I remember when first video that I moved along, I script maybe 10 words, I would say, and it took me like 7 hours to say this 10 words. Can you imagine? 10 words in 7 hours, just shooting here, there. And I read the script, and I read it like this, and I go in front of the camera, and my mind is paralyzed. I cannot say anything. I don't know what can I say. 7 hours. I keep repeating every time, and I move. I didn't I surrendered, and I didn't raise the flag on myself. It was very hard at the beginning. But today I'm moving in front of the camera, and I have some outlines in my mind, and I'm doing it. This is just the start. It will not come from the first time. That's why I'm asking everyone, just start with what you have, and along the way you will do it.
And I love what you said. Initially, you were trying to memorize and use exact words, and that gave you a hard time also, because a lot of times, right, we're thinking in ahead, and then all these other stuff, how we come in across, how we look at it, and we create much more stress and obstacles and anxiety, and make it sometimes more difficult. But when you're live, you're not rehearsed, you're just going free flow, because you have the knowledge, your confidence is there, your expertise is there, and you're at ease. And it's just so magical to see, because a lot of times, again, when we get ourselves internally in that space, the most powerful sharing occurs. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Exactly, exactly. I won't say to everyone, all the people that they are listening to us, start with what you have and don't listen to anyone. Just move, because growth will not come overnight. You can change your direction. Just change your direction, and you will move to where you want to go. But just make the effort and do it. Then after everything will come along the way. Start with what you.
That is powerful, and don't give up, right? Because you were consistent. So how often you were doing and what you were doing just from LinkedIn side, and then you can tell us a little bit more from the virtual side, from the coaching and training that you're doing for your students, because it's like I have feeling that it's all interconnected, which it is, but I think it's all the same in a way. Please tell us.
Sure. So maybe it's the first time that I went live. It was yesterday with the amazing students in university. And this was my first training online. It was a webinar, but all the time that I used to have, everything was recorded. I was outlining my course, and I had the strategical content that I have speak about innovations and how you can build failed innovations from A to Z inside the company, and what are the challenges that most companies they are facing and how they can overcome it based on the experience that I have. And it's very, very easy solution. But because of the operational work that companies they have it every day, they don't have a time to think, even move from operational to tactical, and then from tactical to strategical. So my thought, I thought that I can start sharing those kind of things. Maybe it will open up some eyes for people, and even for business, they can look at business differently. And the amount of engagement that I'm receiving from people and some companies, I would say it's very staggering. So it was like the beginning.
Wow, that is so powerful. See, guys, that reflected publicly in public eye on LinkedIn, and then on his less public virtual world, him as a teacher and with his students, and how that is interconnected. When we break internally through all the fears and things that we perceived as obstacles, then we're free and liberating, and it's just amazing then how that comes across, and then how we are received and how much people crave this. We have here great messages, Ahmed 𝗚𝗏𝗃𝗃, who is mentioning that also how much you've been his and support on his journey, how much he really learned from you, and also how he loves your authenticity and knowledge, and I'm seeing this in the other people's voices, and I'm hearing also here from Nadal, who shared really great question. Ahmed, from your journey, what is the hard to change? I'm sorry. Was it hard to challenge the urge of your comfort zone? Please, if you can speak about it.
I would say shifting the mind and relying on yourself. I think power of self-reliance, it could take you to places that would amaze you. It will take you out of your comfort zone if you believe in yourself and you start to manifest it. So don't, with my respect, I don't believe in this quote, just work on silence and let your success make the noise. No, work and make the noise, and let success do the noise. So start manifest yourself and rely on yourself too much. And I'm telling you, everything will come along the way.
That is so true, because people chase different things and they have a different objectives and idea how that goes, and they force it and create more pain, not only for just themselves, for people around it. And when we do something from anxiety, from pain and fear, or with different motivations, that usually doesn't work. It doesn't last and cannot be sustained. Right? And this actually is a very good point that Ahmed is raising here. Progress is very creative, moving from theory to practical application. And that is the secret sauce. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
You mean practicality, being practical?
Yes, please.
I think we are overwhelmed too much about the theories. People, even at work, they are talking too much in theories, but they forgot about the side of logical and critical thinking. Sometimes your logic can beat millions of theories, because if you come back to the theories, he was a human, and he put these theories based on the experience. So my experience could beat anything, because I am the only one who has this knowledge inside this place or this job itself. So you can trust your inner self, and you can be better. Even you can make many theories because of your experience. Just change information into knowledge. This is what I can say. This is the practicality.
I I love it because I see so many people that are experts in certain fields, but they never put that in application. You can tell they're so well rehearsed in theories and most typical new ways of doing, but when you ask them specifically how did they do it themselves, they go blank because they did not actually put in practical application. And then we also have people who actually do practical application, but sometimes may not know the system and structure, and they don't know how to replicate that, or they don't know how to explain for others to replicate that. So we have a tremendous opportunity here, and since you hone that so well, when you understand the best concepts and tweak those concepts and be able to disrupt and innovate with these concepts, but because you test them out, and now you have a data, and now you see what is working, and then now you know what is not, right? So when it comes to your students and teaching on Udemy, for example, and creating these amazing curricula, what do you usually do to create infrastructure? Because reason why, as an educator, we know that even just in US, we need to change educational system. And now even many companies recognize how much we need to change how we are disseminating and training people, adults, right, in the real life with the real problems around leadership or processes or strategies, whatever it might be. And I'm sure that what you're doing right now, obviously not only is creating tremendous engagement, but it's also creating tremendous result because they're learning. They're learning very quickly, and they're able to apply that in their own businesses, in their own real work environment, and also, frankly, in their personal life. So do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Sure.
What do you recognize with adult learning, and what also brought you from that passion for people and the knowledge sharing?
Sure. I would say, again, when I started, I don't have any programs or framework that I can follow. So I started with all what I have. But after a while, my friend Mohammed Alba, I think that he's there already. He told me about a course with Brandon Patchard. He's an amazing guy. And we took this course, and he gave us like a framework how you can do a course that is compelling, that attract people. And the framework, I can tell you how you can, very easy, how you can make everything, how can you show the struggles that people, they want to listen, and how you can make it very relatable, and you can show them step by step to solve all of these concepts, and what are the results that you can make it, and do and don'ts. Then you can move it into action. There is a framework, but it's all depends on the struggles. People will listen you when they see the same struggles that you have it, you show it, and you promise them that you'll solve it. So that's why they will be attracted to your content for sure. Relatability.
That is beautiful. I've been knowing about Brandon's work for so many years, and then how he started his
amazing guy.
Yes, and then the library, and I actually subscribe to some of his programs and whatnot. And you spot on when we have identified the pain, and now we know how to solve that pain. And then when we lead with the solutions and guide people, because who wouldn't want to follow if we're already in very dire situation? And right now we're really looking for solution, and either it's individual, right, or it's on the company on the larger scale. So I love that you're able to implement that framework very effectively. So where are you seeing the education going with specifically the virtualization and everything? Obviously, people are craving for solutions, right? But I'm just curious, what do you think future holds, and how this ties with not only current events, but in the future? What is your take on?
I think this COVID-19 came and proved us that even work. Some companies right now, they are working virtually, and they are achieving maybe more than what they have, and they save a lot in the bottom line because of some assets or some rentals that they have. I think the same situation could happen moving from offline to online virtual trainings. It will be the way forward. And that's why you will see that the trend is going into webinars and all online seminars, all of this. I think it will be continuing the same trend that we have right now. So it will be, yes.
So it's going to be more and more virtualization, and then maybe face-to-face in person, and then much more easier to scale and offer to larger people, larger audience, versus sometimes that's only few people from companies can go to these events. That's a great perspective, because I know specifically regions you're from in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, also in United Arab United Emirates, how many people were just going for conferences and question is it ever going to be back and it's going to be scaled, right? So we're seeing the same trends that they're anticipating in the United States, like Las Vegas or Miami, some hubs for the different types of trainings. We have here a very good question from Mohammed. Mohammed is asking, how do you feel when you look back on struggles you have went through and how you maintained the discipline? Wow, that is very profound and deep. Thank you, Mohammed. So go for it. Go first.
Sure. I think that struggles that we have today, it will make us better for tomorrow. So struggles, you should take it as a power, because sometimes defeat could be the best beginning, as they say. So struggles for me, it will be an area for growth for tomorrow. I look always to my struggles and I write it down. And when I look back on my daily activities that I see the growth, because I start to take action. Because my life right now, I see it on like paper, and I see how did I take an action on these struggles, and I start to share even struggles, being vulnerable, because we are human. We are all having struggles, and we should share it together. So I start to write all of this and take accountability disciplines, because every day I want to go more and more into growth. I know that there will be challenges in my life, and I will face some challenges and struggles, and I will keep doing it, and I will move it. So discipline, as I told, and as I said, it's all about self-reliance, and you have to find a way. This is.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I will just be quick on my end, since Mohammed asked for both of our perspective. I have to say struggles were so pivotal. They actually forced me to not only be thinking on my feet and resourceful and apply strategy and critical thinking, but also to push myself constantly out of comfort zone. And that's why I'm kind of feeling like I'm agent of change and transformation, because I breathe that all the time. It's part of my now DNA because of disruptions and magnitude of disruptions that I had in the past, from living on my own to different countries, languages, cultures, and different educational systems, etc. And what that really is helping me right now, that I can feel like I can face anything. And the best part is I know now the process, and I can teach that process other people. And with this strength, when we combine our efforts together, like in this situation with Ahmed and others, then that is where magic happens. And how it helps me to be disciplined, because life is constantly happening, either we're ready or not, and we have to stay in the game, right? You can't just step away and say, okay, now I arrived to this level and that's it, because it's constantly something else and something else. And how we stay disciplined, I love what Ahmed said, by being in action, right?
Exactly.
Now we're having a great comment here from Nidal. Ahmed, as you are mastering teaching, you also kept learning. How important it is to shift your mind into learning mode? Phenomenal question, Nidal.
Amazing one. I think, yes. I think I would answer it by 3 letters. It's your why. Because people, they move into learning and they don't know why they go to take it. So I posted from maybe 3 days ago or 4 days ago about just to go and get the skill, not the certificate, because most people, they go learn to get the certificate and put it on their, I would say, desk, and then after that, nothing. So skill will be permanent, but certificate, it will be temporary. So know your why, and once you know your why, you will go and get the learning, because you know where you will go.
That is fantastic. We're having also comment here from Ahmed, echoing true that we need to use our own experiences and stories in the field to touch his lives, and from struggles we're born beautifully. So he loves how you explained that and connected. We also have a Brian here. He's saying that we have a great topic. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your insights, Ahmed. So it's wonderful. And now we're having another comment here, always be learning. So with that in mind, obviously, I had a pleasure and privilege to interview some people last year in Silicon Valley, and we had the biggest innovative minds and disruptors, and just to have these conversations. And I remember vividly one person said, Izabela, right now at this moment, this is the slowest moment of your life. Everything from now on is going to incrementally speed up and speed up and speed up. And when I sat there and listened to that and really looked back, it's like, he's so right. either we are ready to follow that speed, and how we adjust to that speed is going to matter what we do and how we choose to utilize and target our time. And the demands and needs going to speed up. So do you mind sharing how you see that with your expertise, not only now as an educator, but also somebody who's seen disruptive and hugely negatively affected supply chain during the current events? What do you see what was going to happen, and how the speed is going to impact that?
You mean in supply chain or in general?
In supply chain and in general, yes, both, please.
In general, I would say I would take it personally. So as you mentioned before, that if you don't push yourself, you'll never grow. So the first thing that you need to step up out of your comfort zone, and the limit that we put, and the limit of our life, it's all here. So your limit, it's your mind, and the stories in your mind. Why cannot you do it? So everything, you should unleash it from your mind and step out of your comfort zone and move it. And along the way, you will find your way. But just as I said before, start. It's all about the start. Push yourself, because if you not pressure yourself, you'll never grow. You'll never grow. This could be applicable as a personal and even in business. If you don't go and see what's going around you, and if you don't go for the trend and you don't push yourself, you will never grow.
And the more we fell behind with everything speeding up, the harder will be to catch up. That distance going to just get bigger and bigger, and we will feel very impossible. Like we're seeing right now with people that are not utilizing LinkedIn, or people that are not having their own voice, and they feel lost, don't they?
Exactly. Yes.
And how about situations right now that you see in supply chain, if you don't mind? So now putting that in that point of light, so that people can really see. We have a disruption, right? So many things because of conditions, economy, COVID, political situation, disruption happen on so many layers, but the need is higher and higher, right? And how do we now satisfy this need for the trade, for the different supply? What do you see happening in that space, please?
I think the trend should be coming into more agile supply chain and resiliency. So if you can see, most companies and most organizations, they moved into localization. They used to have centralization before, so they start to decentralize and move into localization. Because you know what's happening in cross borders and what happened in COVID-19, just it was like awaken step in people in companies. They start to look into how they can move into sustainability for the business, rather than looking only in the bottom line and profitability. So I think being agile and being resilient, it's a key major challenge that companies, they have to look at it from a supply chain point of view.
That is brilliant. And I am 100% with you, because if we wanted to thrive, we need to have that dialed down, right? And right now, so many are in very dire survival mode, because they did not anticipate level of risk, but they also did not work on it to deepen these relationships and deepen these connections, so that prioritization would happen when you have all of a sudden from 10 clients, now hundreds and thousands of clients pitching the same company to deliver the same thing. It's virtually impossible, right? And how do you do it? Do you do based on who's going to give you the most money, or do you do based on loyalty? So many companies were being criticized actually just because they were chasing dollars. But we also see the companies that they didn't care about the dollars. They really wanted to look at where they're going to make the most impact, social, economically, politically, because of the dire needs, like mask delivery, like medication delivery, and right now, like a vaccine distribution and delivery. So now we see who is conscientious, who is leading from the right place, right? And who is leading from very different points of view. And of course, everybody wants to thrive and have a financial sustainability, but also how we have to look at multiple factors there.
Yes.
You might share a little bit your perspective on that.
Sure. As I told you, most companies, they look into the single bottom line. So if you want to be sustainable, you have to work into the triple bottom line. I would say, as you said, economical, this is the first, and environmental and social. And this brings us into the social corporate responsibility, how they look, because many people, they don't understand this power of being social, and how it takes the reputation, the brand, the image of the company to the next level, and how even it's enlightening the government and the relationship of it, and how it goes. So I think, as you said, it's a very brilliant point what you spoke about.
Thank you. And I love it because you started saying how much you invested in your own personal brand, how much you think about your own reputation, how you come across, and why you do what you do. You don't do just videos and all these posts for entertainment purposes. You also do it for education and broader reach, but also building strong global community. And that is the beauty, what I see, and that is what the future is going to hold, that we can scale it down. We don't have to have large group large teams and large groups, right? With mighty small groups, but with the right intentions and shared vision, we can create so much impact. And
yes,
that's why we're going to be put in a test very, very soon, and I'm super excited about it. But guys, stay tuned for that. We have Mohammed 𝗘𝗳𝗶. I love Mohammed. Thank you, Mohammed, for invitation for Cup of Coffee in Dubai. And definitely will be over some great training and some great business that we're going to be doing there very soon.
He invited me maybe 1 year ago, but I couldn't come. So hopefully we'll come together.
Yes, we're putting intentions out there so that things will happen. So if it happens year from now, we definitely have plenty of work to do there. So we will definitely make sure we all connect and then have opportunity to meet in person and possibly even collaborate. That's fantastic. We're also having Dr. யூசுப் Ahmed. Thank you for sharing that for yes, through diverse lens. Thank you. I'm glad that resonates this with you, and I'm glad you participate and your voice is heard. So please, everybody, I have to teach now. Okay, thank you for showing at least for the part that you could, Dr. யூசுப், and we'll stay in touch. But what I wanted to just say, guys, keep asking questions, keep participating with us, because this is the beauty of doing LinkedIn Lives and having interaction and having opportunities to have a dialogue and participate together, because complexities that we're seeing, we can only solve together, can we? No one single person can make as much as impact as we can do collectively.
Sure. More questions, please.
If they don't have, I have a plenty more to go. So I love what you mentioned right now, also with the supply chain and disruptions and everything. So what would you recommend for companies that were not prepared or were lost or still at loss of what and how they should do? If you can tell them what they need to have as a prerequisite in order to truly, as you mentioned, have a good social and branding and intention, as well as relationships with others. What we've seen here. People aligning with the different partners as a result of specific behaviors, not what we say and versus what we do, not what you put on your website as your values, but then you don't value those values when it comes to dire situations, right?
Exactly. So I think I will park aside the part of the technicality, but I will talk about the leadership part. I think if you can let people feel that they are in the same place, they have the same values, the good culture, they can do the miracle. They can do a big miracle. So it's not only about just looking into the technicalities and how the flow of the company and how can we achieve the bottom line or top line. It's all about the people, because people, they are the assets of the company. So if you understand what people need, and if you're working and you feel they feel that they're close to the company, I believe that this is the real transformation for the organization and for the company. It takes it to the next level. Technicality, anyone can do it. You have consultancy, you have anyone, they can solve it. But the real asset, it's only people of the company. So working on people, this is the major change, I would say.
That is music to my ears, because that's where I always sit, and everything related to people, because we see organization focus on technology, then a little bit of process, and the people always kind of the bottom bucket, right? And for me, for organizations, I always kept years and years ago saying, let's put people first, so then the processes can come in, and then we can choose and select technologies and where we're going. So because right now we see way too much overlap. Any problem, people throw more technology. In reality, they should be looking where is the gap and where's too much overlap, and how to streamline and simplify. And
Exactly.
and people are the biggest asset. And if people don't catch up that and lead their organizations, that's why we're having so many problems. So with that in mind, what are you seeing? What you guys are seeing? What is happening in your part of the world, in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia? What do you see culturally that is shifting and the companies are doing more of?
It's amazing. I see now that I would say in my company right now, everything is going right, and even around Saudi Arabia and this region, I see there is a transformation in terms of everything, in terms of I would say the business and the growth of the market itself. Even with the challenges that we have in COVID-19, many companies, I would say in FMCG companies, they're moving in a very good space. So I think it's a good step or a good movement inside our market in this region, North Africa, Middle East.
That's fantastic. So they're refocused. They start focusing more on their people, infrastructure, and their organizations during the downturn or when things a little bit slower down, right? And now they're getting prepared more for going back to the business as usual as soon the market started reopening and expanding. I'm assuming that is the case, right?
Exactly.
And that is a great example, and reason I want you to share that is because it's a great opportunity when people are saying things are slow or things are not happening or we're waiting to close the client to the deal. What can we do while we're waiting? And I love what you just did and how you disrupted everything that you're doing. So do you mind giving a little recap, because we're getting close to the top of the hour and I wanted to listeners and viewers to be able to take some actionable items. What did you do in order to assimilate and assess and position as a teacher, as a virtual trainer, as someone who definitely is seeing how supply chain education needed to be disseminated and delivered so that others can not only quickly learn, but quickly apply?
Exactly. I mentioned before, it's all about learning and why you're learning it. Today, I'm doing what I'm doing because I know where I'm going. Today, I used to have my experience and everything was in my mind as an information. But today, in order to take the information and transfer it into knowledge, you have to take pencil and paper and connect the dot. This is what you have. And after a time, by just creating all of this, you will have your unique style or creativity. You can make a compelling content and change everything around you and people's thoughts about it. So I would say just changing. We have all inside our mind. We have too much experience, too many things. It's information. Just put this information into paper, and everything will change. This is what I would say the first step for teaching. Just trust your experience. I'm not saying just academic things, because again, experience, it's the most valuable currency. Put it on paper, make it well structured, and you can have compelling stories and struggles and help people with it. This is teaching.
Wow. That is teaching of 21st century, guys. This needs to be repeated. Teaching of 21st century is not the old mold and old books and old structure. It's you leveraging new modern tools and new mindsets and new ways and disseminate that information, because on the end of the day, most of the time who we're teaching now, we're teaching adults. Yes, we have kids and that they have to go through that essential foundation and education. But what we're talking about, the rest of us, how many adults we have across the world that need to continue to re-educate and build and expand and unleash their passion. So do you mind to mention how do you do that through unleash and expanding that by being the best version of yourself, that you put yourself in that mindset? What adjustments you have to do individually in order to shine?
I would say consistency, and try always to make it everything relatable, and values. Drive values as long as you can. This is the first thing, that this will make you always going. And if you want to know if you're driving values or no, you will understand it from the engagement itself. I would say online, whether it's LinkedIn, whatever it's social media and other social media, make it valuable and test and do, and you will understand by time what is the best way to make it happen.
Mm. And I love what you also showed, that like you can test the value of what value to bring based on response from an audience, right? If people are craving the content, if people are engaging with the content, if people are asking for more, and if they're not, you know, then it's opportunity to adjust or change the platform or tweak things, or whatever might be the case. Because every output, every action has what? Reaction.
Sure.
So we need to pay attention to that as well, or a lack of reaction, whatever might be the case. Right now, we mentioned earlier when you and I were talking about how algorithms were changing, and specifically in US with the LinkedIn specifically, how numbers went down dramatically actually. And I was involved with the top guns on LinkedIn that are experts on LinkedIn in Clubhouse, and they kind of anticipated that. And there are a lot of speculation what might happen. So don't get discouraged if you're not getting hundreds and thousands and millions of views. It's every person and every engagement you get is worth it. It's just about perfecting your craft and delivery, and snowballing effect will happen sooner or later. And I love what you said, consistency. You don't do one video a week or one video a month, and you don't just post.
Yes, I'll tell you also, you know, when I started, I'll be very honest, I was looking for more engagement, but I reached to a maturity stage that I want to touch people's life. Wherever I am today and the content that I have, I want to touch people's life. Even it's one person, I'll be very happy. It's not about too many people. I want something that really touch the base on the ground and will push people to work on their greatness, whether it's inside the business or outside the business. That's why if you can see that most of my content, I try to start with a story, which is very relatable to people, because I want them to understand what's going on. Everything it's coming like a story. Then move into the values, struggle value, and then how you can overcome it.
That is brilliant, and I love that, because people connect emotionally, and again, relatability. But what is also more important, it is right now we live in very challenging times, regardless of financial position, safety, security, and which country we're in. People are struggling, and people are committing suicide. People are feeling desperate. They're feeling alone, and this is also a beautiful way so we can bring everybody together and engage, because we're now more approachable and we're more accessible, and you never know whose life you're going to change and who you're going to give a hope, an opportunity, or a aha moment that they can say, but if he could do this, I can do that too, right?
Exactly.
So I'm glad you're also sharing some of those struggles in your stories and pain points, because guys, that's the part of the journey. And I love what Mohammed also sharing here. I believe the leaders should approach employees and followers as teachers as well, most definitely, because we learn from each other. Nobody is learned it all and know it all. And nobody is done with the learning. Even if you're subject matter in supply chain, if you just stay with thinking of today and not project what for the years to come, pretty soon you're not going to be that subject matter expert. And I love authoritarian approaches is, yes, it's not applicable anymore. Absolutely. The way that things are, that's why we have so many systems crumbling, but we also have so many opportunities to build new infrastructure, right? With great strategy, with great people, with great foundation, with great leadership. And then allowing these subject matter experts like yourself to shine and do your job for what you hired, what you brought in, what can you solve? Because I see way too much, Ahmed, people being brought in, but then never given the reins or opportunity to do what they're good at it. It's like, why will be bringing the all-star player and never give them chance to play on the field? Thank you. I'm so glad that you're seeing that and thinking that, Mohammed, and thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Mohammed.
With questions and comments, because we again learn from each other, and it's such a great perspective, so we can see what is going on other parts of the world. So, _𝗁𝗍𝗪, what movie are you going to be playing next?
I think,
Fast and Furious, it's coming number 9.
The same as I told you. I think that you posted the one post like yesterday or before yesterday. You look like Angelina Jolie. The same. Exactly.
So we have a Croatian Angelina Jolie and we have an Egyptian _𝗁𝗍𝗪, so we can create some really amazing stuff.
It's coming very soon.
But I love that also with your personality and innovative ways of teaching, guys, which you will see so much more of very soon. I really want to ask you, what would you like to share in the closing to our global audience? What would be your words of wisdom? Because again, you're very young, but very wise and very accomplished. And I love the depth and breadth of thinking you already have, and your huge desire not only to serve, obviously, of course, to impact and to make a difference. So what would be one piece of advice for people that look up to you and want to create similar things, but they don't know how, or they don't have a confidence, or they don't have enough of knowledge, any of those scenarios? What would be your, in closing, the biggest advice for everybody listening and watching?
Okay. I would say change your mind from asking to serving, because asking you receive little, but serving you receive too much. And try to bring always your seeds, not needs, into the marketplace. Just work on this, and I believe miracle will happen.
Bring your what? Bring your seeds?
Bring your seeds, not your needs, to the marketplace, because most people, they bring their needs to the marketplace. Bring your seeds, what you have, and you can.
Wow. Okay. Is this your quote? We're going to quote you, just so you know. We're going to bring your seeds, not...
It's Jim Rohn, honestly. It's Jim Rohn, because I love Jim Rohn. He's always saying this, bring all your seeds, not your needs.
Yeah. I love it. But I'm just saying, okay, great. We'll give a credit to Jim Rohn, but just a great reminder, because I read him so many times, but I don't think I heard that one. So that's the reason I was like, well, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. That one is very, very deep. Wow, guys. So now you got it. Now you know what you need to do. Bring your seeds, not your needs. Lead with the value. Show up, just started. Go break fears. If you never know what is on the other side. This is Ahmed's first live, and he did an insanely awesome job. He's a pro, he's a natural. And guess what? More to come. And that's the beauty. When you now feel so comfortably comfortable with what is looking like to be on this other side, right? Now it's like, now you're raising the bar. Now it's the next task. Now it's the next layer. And then that is the beauty. We just constantly push ourselves out of comfort zone, right? Don't we?
Yes, sure. One thing also I want to say that it maybe yesterday and today I was very afraid, and I'm saying in front of everyone, to go live, because what I used to do, it's in front of the camera, so I make many mistakes, but I show myself that I'm doing the best shots. I'm human. I'm doing mistakes, and I'm afraid. But today I'm trying to push myself out of my comfort zone, because I want to be the best version of myself, and I want to serve people, and I want to help people. I want to inspire people to get out of their comfort zone, because I'm within people. We are human. So I'm afraid, and I'm still afraid, but I'm beating this fear every day.
You facing it. First of all, I just want to say thank you for sharing that vulnerability and sharing with others. Thank you for trusting me to do that with me. It's such an honor and pleasure. And again, that's the beauty, guys. When we hold each other in the great space and have each other's back, and when we put each other's at ease in things that we don't know and things that are not naturally coming to us, you never know, because he's going to help maybe something else that it's my blind spot, or not something that I'm really good at it, or I don't feel comfortable about it. So it's just that beauty of domino effect. But when we actually have that trust and deep desire, so your desire, Ahmed, is higher than any of your fears. And that's exactly how you break through. That is exactly how you face that. And that's exactly what I shared 5-6 years ago in my book, The World Message from Fear to Greatness, and how you break those fears, how you face and see what is it and what is not. And then you propel and go to that path of greatness to be the best version that you can be. And that's what it's all about, guys. So thank you for being so tentatively with us here. Okay, you can be the producer. We'll definitely have a camera ready for you and help you and co-produce and co-direct with us.
He's a good producer, by the way, Muhammad. He's a very good producer, and he is also driving an amazing content. But in Arabic, he's a very good coach, live coaching. So Muhammad, I think that he will be even not producer, but even actor. you know.
Fantastic. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. We need to be comfortable in front of the camera and behind the camera so we know how this works. And Mohammed, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would love to also interview you. And then this is, again, beauty. When we have organically engagements, we meet amazing people, and then we also create some amazing stuff. And time also to share. So we have an Arabic linguistic groups, and now we're going to have an English. We're going to be doing things in other languages, and that's the beauty. We're going to be able to disseminate quality and value across the board and across the borders, and that's the beauty about all of it. So Ahmed, thank you so much for, again, great opportunity. It was absolute pleasure, and I wish you a fantastic evening. I know it's late wherever you are. Seems like you froze for a second. I'm hoping that your connection is still good. He was telling me how bad wind is actually in Riyadh right now, and internet goes in and out. So guys, this is what happens in real world. Things not always go as we expected. So he just dropped because he lost connections. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for listening, being part of it, and look forward to chatting with you guys soon. Cheers.